How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to go and do a double mission. I'm going to mainly go and do this work for Old Sweat, but I'm going to start off on Black River. I'm going to cut across, grab 2 planks from the sawmill, because then when I get to Smithville, I've got to grab 2 spare parts from there, service spare parts, I believe, and then 1 concrete slab from that warehouse. But that bridge is also broken and out the way, whereas yeah, I need 2 wooden planks to fix it, so I can kind of just do that on the way, and then yeah, I've got to drop the rest of the stuff I've grabbed at the quarry. I'm going to take the Twinsteer for this. I was feeling in the mood for it. Now I'm at a high enough level, I was able, they're not the perfect tyres that I want, but I was able to do that bug thing again and put the larger tyres on the Twinsteer without the raised suspension, which, yeah, in all honesty, I prefer anyway. Even like on my original playthrough, if I was able to put the large tyres on stuff and have the lowered suspension, that's what I'd go with. And yeah, this was a good chance to test this thing out. I also mainly needed 4 cargo slots, so it was kind of either this or just another vehicle with a normal 2-slot trailer. And yeah, thought I'd see how this handles. I've still got the top engine and everything for it. This one is, yeah, closer to like fully upgraded really. I've got the top engine, the high range gearbox. Now I've got larger tyres, but like I said, they're not the chained or the muds or whatever you can get on it. They're all terrain, I think. But it still motors along pretty nicely. That's one thing I do like about this. As someone was saying in the comments earlier, they'd like sort of more trucks on this game that are a bit quicker. And yeah, it's the same for me, to be honest. Like, this truck definitely stands out from a lot of the other large trucks because it's got the high range. Like, and I believe that's what makes this a pretty cool, fun truck to use. Not to say it'd be terrible at all if it had the advanced special, but it just, yeah, it nerfed the fun aspect of it. Like, it'd now just be solidly ticking along, but it'd just be slow and a bit, yeah, predictable and all the rest of it. Whereas at the pace it's going, you do take little bits of damage. You can potentially roll if you, yeah, get the corner wrong and stuff. So at this point, I could have cut across the bridge going to the drilling site, but again, I wanted to test out going across here. I mean, it's got the snorkels, so it theoretically should be able to handle deep water. I know though from testing it in the sea on White Valley that the front floats, the back doesn't, and this highlights pretty well really that I've not got the all-wheel drive for this at the minute, and it definitely helps a lot. I mean, normally the front would float, but I'm not quite deep enough yet. That's what she said. Yeah, so all in all, like, all-wheel drive would be pretty handy now. The current, to be honest, is getting me. I was originally going to do tonight the mission called Cousin Cletus that I'm still trying to bloody do on my original playthrough. And yeah, it was one of the most terrible, just worst thought out missions on the game. Up there with a star in the sky. And it's not even a particularly hard mission. Somebody told me that the other day, which I appreciate, if you go and do that Cousin Cletus mission, the Russian cranes aren't long enough to like reach down and grab the cargo you need to do, like 2 lots of fuel barrels or whatever. So you'd need like the American crane. They'd already told me that, but I'd already got to Drummond Island. I had a dolphin and loaf on me. And yeah, just in general, like, I tried to reach down to the beach or whatever, tried to reach both of them, neither of them had any luck. And then I tried to drive through the water, like through the beach basically, and up to the barrels that way. And then essentially it was just game mechanics. When I reached this one point, it just automatically made my dolphin start wheel spinning, pretty much like it is now to a degree. It just kind of seemed to, yeah, the power wasn't really there and the current was going against me, and it was just a frustrating, annoying mission where, like I said, it's not a very hard mission to do. I'll just go back with a either an American crane, or I'll end up just jumping off the bloody cliff and then I'll use the current going back the other way just to get me back to the land, and I'll drive off and get the mission done. So it's nothing, yeah, terribly hard. It's just, again, whoever designed that mission, it's like they clearly didn't even play through the mission themselves and test it out and think, like I said, the fact that the cranes couldn't reach it is a pain in the arse, but skirting around to drive up along the beach at the shallowest part, which the dolphin was, it's got a snorkel on the roof, so it was perfectly capable of doing it. I wasn't drowning or anything. And yeah, they just kind of cock-block that way as well by putting rocks jutting out that just, well, they make you have to go around it, but then the patch of mud or whatever it is I have to drive along, it looks like there's no stones there, nothing that the dolphin's getting stuck on, but it just stops you dead. And yeah, so that was a bit of a frustrating half an hour odd. I'll get back to that mission eventually. As for this one though, yeah, eventually got over the water. Like I said, low range diffs on. This thing still does motor along pretty well considering its size, but all-wheel drive is a biggie with this thing. It's just like I said before, because it's so long. Don't know what she said again. It's if you've only got power at the back, it's like the front of your truck could be in a whole different terrain, or you might be leaning on an angle and like your back end's not really getting much grip. It's just, yeah, both ends of the truck are too far apart to only have one end that's got power, really. It's once you got it biting from both ends, it's a hell of a lot better, especially in maps like Lake Covden and Mandra when you go through breakable ice. Like, that was one biggie with this thing, really. When you cut over like that big channel of breakable ice on Lake Covd, you could always smash your way into the ice and get as far as your back end getting into the ice, but even if you had your front end out and your back end in the ice, it's just like, yeah, you couldn't get out of there because there's nothing going to the front, whereas all-wheel drive is, yeah, hell of a lot better. Also, as well, while I remember, appreciate it, there's quite a few people told me in the comments, I assumed the devs or whatever have released some new information regarding the update, so apparently it's coming out on the 16th of November, so it's not too long to wait. I mean, it's already the 10th now, so pretty much talking, yeah, 6 odd days and we should have the update, which is good. It is about bloody time, to be honest, because, yeah, I'm sure I remember somewhere around September thinking, oh, I wonder when the next update's going to be. And, yeah, we're in November now, halfway through November pretty much, so it took them a little while, but it's better than nothing. Another 6 days to go. I can mess around on this game for another 6 days. I still wouldn't mind going back on MudRunner as well and just messing around with a few things on there. When I was on it the other day, I was doing my little drift section on the downhill map. I still love that, but the trucks drift so much better in MudRunner. But yeah, some of the later maps on that game, like the Crossing, I found that was a pretty fun game, or map, sorry. The Deluge, that was pretty cool. I mentioned before that I've got 1 star on Deluge, and a couple of people said they wouldn't mind seeing me do that, but in all honesty, it wouldn't be a very good video to watch, as I said to them, because all I did was pretty much drive to the bottom of the map, not the very bottom of the map, but it was that sort of way, found a couple of little islands that I could kind of skip halfway across the river, and then I just drove a scout into the river, drowned it, got swept away with the current, and eventually, about an hour later, I got washed up on like the shore on the other side of the river, basically, was able to reach some trees, and yeah, winched myself out, used like the little repair kit I had to just fix. I was still popping and spluttering with flames, and then yeah, I believe in the end I winched along and got to the E7310 that's parked in like a little yard on the other side of the map. And once I got that, I drove back to the start, grabbed the garage sections, and just carried on as normal. So the actual hard part, the difficult part of 1 star in Deluge was just, yeah, I spent a lot of it just kind of floating down the river, not really in control as such. And I found that out on the go before, because I was trying to cut across the river, drowned my scout, ended up washing up on the beach, but I'd already used my repair kit by then, and I just kind of thought, well, if I did this again and I still had a repair kit, I'll be able to winch out of there and yeah, go and retrieve the E7310 thing, which again I really wish they'd add to this game. Not only was it a bloody solid truck in a MudRunner, but it just looks cool. It's the sort of thing you want to drive. That's why I'd like them to kind of concentrate on bigger vehicles in this game. It's sounding good with this big dumper truck thing they're adding, even if it's overall not the most useful thing. Like, I don't really mind that. It's just quite cool driving, yeah, all the bigger stuff in this. Like I said, the P16's cool, the Collobs are cool, the Twinsteer's cool. Sadly, the Derry 4520 anyway sucks, but we'll see. Hopefully mods can fix that. Just quickly, it's that's why it's nice to be able to smash a tree out of the way. I was able to nail all 3 of them and just keep going, which is what I prefer. I say one day we'll get them all. They're all on the list. Maybe that dump truck as well. That'll probably help me smash some trees out of the way. But like I said, I've gone flat out into trees before with the Twinsteer, and if you hit them hard enough, the ones that don't move, they just kind of glitch through the middle of your Twinsteer and then poke out, like they flick out of either side or whatever. So yeah, it's cheating. Not happy about that. We'll figure it out one day. I still vote for some kind of demolition truck. Something we can blow these trees out the bloody ground. Do you know what? I was watching a video earlier that's made me laugh. It was something like, it must be Russia or something. It's just got to be. But they were like restaging, I assume, some kind of terrorist bus hijacking thing. I don't know. They were clearly on some kind of army barracks, and there was people in the background watching. So it must have been a demonstration. And there was kind of like an APC type thing. Do you know? I looked a little bit, it obviously wasn't the same, but a little bit like the Tatran that was kind of pulling up the bus was driving along. They kind of pulled up in front of it to block it. Some guy come running in from behind the bus with what can only be described as just a stick, like not even a nice neat stick that's been made. It was just like something he'd just ripped off a tree, and ran at the back of the bus, and then went to smash one of the windows out with a stick. For whatever reason, as soon as he hit the bus, the bus detonated and just blew the whole back end of the bus off, blew him pretty far with it. And to their credit, everyone just carries on with the demonstration. But it's like, obviously, yeah, a demonstration, but classic Russians or whatever, they just put actual live bombs in the bus. Like, yeah, we'll make this this terrorist demonstration real. Bit too real. In Russia, window breaks you. But yeah, I have no idea. I mean, unless his stick went through the window and a little bit of glass hit, for whatever reason, was a live bomb in the back of a bus for demonstration purposes. But yeah, I think that guy's decision to join the anti-terrorist squad, he's probably having some second thoughts about that right now. But I just can't help but laugh. I have a weakness for people who underestimate explosions. I don't know if anyone's seen the one where it's in some country they seem to smack a sledgehammer onto a metal plate and then you see a small explosion. And there's one guy that does it with the sledgehammer, and he hits the metal plate and the explosion's big enough to kind of just drop him completely. And yeah, I don't know why. Like I said, I've got a weakness for it. That guy shot the lawnmower, and then it's just like, I blew my leg off. Oh shit! It gets me every time. Anyway, that's about enough of that. So yeah, we fixed the bridge. Sorry, dropped me wooden planks off. Got myself a concrete slab. Found the new mission apparently. We'll worry about that one later. More tree stumps. Tried to get me them. I've actually drove around that bridge a couple of times. It's not too hard to cut through the water, but you can tell again they've kind of made it purposely trollish. Again, from driving back on Mudrunner, after going down the downhill section where I usually drift it, you can kind of go through a little gate post, and then there's a bit of water there that you can kind of drive up the river, and you don't have to, but that's what I've been doing. And yeah, I think partly due to the weight, like stuff in Mudrunner again still feels more planted, and driving through the water it's felt more realistic. Tonight, between doing that bloody cousin Cletus mission where, yeah, my dolphin just randomly decided like, nope, it can't get any further, even though it clearly would be able to, and also, yeah, cutting this thing through where I did near the drilling site on Black River. Yeah, I wish they would. I'd like to see more water obstacles in this game, but they're gonna need to readjust some vehicles' characteristics, whether they, like, the fact that a lot of trucks float in this game is pretty bloody unlikely. So yeah, as far as realism goes, I actually think Mudrunner might have the edge in some ways, but again, this game, SnowRunner, overall is just a far better planned out, put together game, like far more replayability and all the rest of it. But it still does show you though kind of how well Mudrunner, how well they nailed like the core aspect of what they wanted to do in the game. Like, yeah, again, I think even though there's far more replayability and it's far better laid out and everything on this game, I think to a degree they kind of took their eye off the ball, and it's not like, there's still the games here and everything, but yeah, things with like the Derry 4520, it's been 7 months and they haven't even given it a better engine, or I don't know, they're too slow on like tweaking the things that, not just me, I believe, like objectively speaking, would make it a better, more realistic game. Anyway, that's them done. That's another mission ticked off. It was trying to offer me yeah, new materials order or something. It was offering me to cash that one in. Anyway, that's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.